Hi guys, it's Jessie of Jessie's Cards and Crafts. I am an independent demonstrator for a company called Stampin' Up! And today we are going to be doing our card kit for the Bundle of the Month Club. For those of you who don't know what Bundle of the Month Club is, basically it's a club I started to highlight a stamp set with a coordinating punch. So every month I choose one out of the catalog. The great thing about this is Stampin' Up! Already gives you 10% off the bundle. So you're saving money right there. And then when you purchase this from me, I send you a craft kit with packages of card sets. Like this month we'll be making these cards here. So you get all the paper supplies and embellishments to make some cards, and then I create a video for you to follow along. I find that this is a great program for beginners all the way through experienced crafters, because beginners have a place to jump off. They have a little bit of instruction, a little bit of a focus. It's easier to choose this set to start with and then build your supplies around it. For the experienced stamper, it's, if you like this set and you want to do these cards, you don't have a lot of time to gather things, it's a good value. You can still use the products that you already have and love with this set. So it seems to work for everybody. This is our first month. I would love to hear any feedback you have. Whether you purchase the set and you're going along this adventure with me, or you're just watching for entertainment and ideas. Okay guys, here we are with our first card. I made this a thank you card, but as we're making this, you can choose whatever sentiment you like. You're going to go into your product box that I sent you, and you're going to get the cellophane bundle with a number 1. These are all the paper supplies for these cards. Now in my pack, I have enough for 1 card, but in your packs you will have enough for 4. So you have a choice. You can either do all 4 at once, or you can just do 1 at a time. It's up to you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to take our card base and we're going to use that pre-scored line, and we're going to fold it down. If you have a bone folder, go ahead and give that a nice crease down. If you don't, you can use the side of your scissors or a credit card, whatever you got. Just make sure that your crease is nice and folded down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our designer series paper and we're going to create the backdrop for our card. Now you have a choice. You could do the splotch pattern or flip it over and do the stripes. I'm going to do the stripes on mine. I'm going to use some of our Tombow liquid glue. You can use like a dry adhesive, like the Stampin' Seal. I like liquid because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So if you don't have it on exactly where you want it or straight, it just gives you a few seconds to play with it and get it where you want it. That's pretty good. Kind of varnish it down there and set that to the side. Let's see. The next thing you're going to notice that one of my squares is not the same as yours, or rectangle. I gave you the cute ice cream pattern. I ran out and I don't like to waste paper, so I used some of this splotchy, which I'm going to put on my card. And then we have this purple posy plain piece for your background. Now, I was thinking about it. It looks good just like it is, right? But I thought, how could we kind of pop this up? If you have an embosser, an embossing folder, so this would be for my already established crafters, you can go ahead and emboss it with a pattern. I'm using our Stampin' Mini embossing cut. So basically, if you've never used one of these, you get embossing folders, you create your sandwich, oops, and you're gonna run the paper and the embossing folder through the machine, just like that. And then, Lord, this is hard to do on camera. I'm just dropping everything and throwing it. I swear, it'll get better. I'll get used to it. Okay, so there you go. Now we have some texture to our paper. Another thing you could do if you don't have an embosser is take some of your ink on a sponge and kind of go around the outside of the card, doing a little distressing, and that would give it depth as well. But for my card, I went ahead and did the embossing. So now you're going to get to play with your materials a little bit. On the original design, which I took right from inspiration from the catalog, I went ahead and I angled my paper. So I'm going to take my liquid glue again. And I'm going to kind of angle that designer series paper like that. I love this paper. They designed it where there's 3 different colors of these splotches. And if you take your ice cream punch, you can actually cut out like the ice cream scoops with your punch, and it looks so nice and it gives it depth. But we're going to be stamping ours and cutting them out today. So then you take your light purple and you're going to put, and just kind of play with it. You don't have to do it exactly like I did, right? Do it the way you think looks the best and kind of stick that down. Okay, so that's the main part of our card already done. Now we're going to take the white piece of paper that I put in your pack, and we are going to do some stamping. So get your stamp set. These are our photopolymer stamps, which they're clear. You'll notice mine are discolored. The stamps will pick up some of the pigment from your ink. It's fine. It doesn't hurt the stamp at all. It's still going to perform beautifully. And I think it just gives it character. So now you have some choices to make. I'm going to take a clear acrylic stamp block and put my stamp on it. You can choose to do 1, 2, 3, however many ice cream scoops you would like. On the paper that came in your kit, I let you know the coordinating colors that Stampin' Up! Suggested. I'm going to use some Bermuda Bay right now. Oh, one more thing. With the photopolymer stamps, they suggest that you use a mat underneath when you do your stamping. And this gives you a crisper image. If you don't have, this is a piercing mat. If you don't have a foam mat, you can take it like a magazine or a stack of copy paper and stamp on top of that, just to give you a little bit of cushion and give is all you want. Now I'm going to use our Stampin' Chamois to kind of clean off my stamp. And we're going to go into another color. I'm going to do a 3 scoop. We're all in, right? So now I'm using Old Olive. And I like to do a lot of repeat stamping. So you're going to notice first I just get my ice cream down, scoops, and then I'm going to embellish them a little bit with some detail stamping. It's however you want to do it. Now, if you're doing all 4 cards at once, you might want to get all your stamping and cutting and all that stuff out of the way and then assemble your card. It's however you want to do it, whatever makes you happy. This is your crafting session. I want you to enjoy it and do what you love, right? Okay, so, and then I used Magenta Madness for my 3rd scoop. Just going to clean that off. You want to clean your stamp off in between so you don't get any transfer of ink into your pads. Now I'm going to take the sprinkle stamp. Yes, the sprinkle stamp. And just pick it up. And I think I'm going to use some Blackberry Bliss. Now on my original one, I used the same colors to stamp the sprinkles. This time we're going to do it a little differently. This is where your fun and creativity comes in. Because I'm using the same color, I don't have to clean it in between each one. So we have our ice cream scoops done. Now let's create our cone. We're going to use some cinnamon cider or whatever coordinating color you have that you would like to use. And I'm going to switch this out. There we go. The cone. Now when you're stamping, you just need to kind of lightly blot it. You don't need to mash your stamp in there and get the ink all over the place. It's going to pick up on these stamps. So just kind of give it a few light taps. And the same thing when you're stamping. You don't need to absolutely crush the stamp into the paper. You just want a nice, firm pressure. And it'll also help if you're not putting too much pressure or, you know, absolutely crushing it in there, for your stamp not to rock or give you any funny images. Now, here's a 2-step stamp, right? So you're going to line up the crisscrosses into the cone and boom, we got it. Okay, now we're going to use our ice cream builder punch. And what you might want to do is trim your pieces out so that they go into the punch easier. Okay, so we're cutting these out like so. And then you're going to line it up in your punch. Okay, pop it up. Oh. Okay, so there's our first mistake. It's not really a mistake, but it's a good learning lesson. Because this punch has the 2 pieces, I wasn't paying attention when I cut out the first one. And yes, I did line it up, but I accidentally cut some of the second scoop out. So we won't have a pink scoop for my card. That's okay. Lesson learned. The great thing about this is you can recreate it because you have the ink, you have the stamps, and you can make as many as you want. Just happy little accidents, right? And learning lessons. Okay, so I lined up the cone. I'm going to punch that out, get rid of my trash, and I'm going to cut my, actually, let me trim that down some more. And you're going to line it up, boop, like that. Get rid of the trash. Okay, so we have our pieces. And put this stuff aside. Okay, and we already have our prepped background. So there's two ways you could do this. You could stamp your sentiment first and place this first and then put your ice cream on there to make sure it lines up. Or you could place your ice cream first and then make sure before you glue anything down that it's where you want it and that your sentiment's gonna fit. Also, if you don't like it quite like I had it, or you just want to play with it, see what you can come up with differently. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my ice cream and then do my sentiment. So I'm just going to take a little liquid glue and actually I might want to start with my cone. I have that on the bottom. I'm going to stick that on. And I kind of want this right straight up there. Take my second scoop. And stick it up there. Actually, I really like these colors. They pop off the purple. Now, let's pick a sentiment. Last time I did thank you. I think this time we're gonna make it a happy birthday card. I have a lot of birthdays in March in my family. My birthday is the 18th. So feeling kind of festive. And let's see. I think I'm gonna go for the blue. I'm a blue girl. It's just what I go to. This is actually Bermuda Bay. The actual color. It's so pretty. Okay, so we're gonna line up our happy birthday in our banner and pop it out. Wash this off, set it to the side. You want to close up your ink pads so they don't dry out. All right, so now let's put our banner on. And you know what? I think for this, I'm gonna pop it up a little. So in your kit, I sent you a whole sheet of Stampin' Dimensionals. And these are double-sided foam dots. for you to give your card a little bit of dimension. Oh, you know what? Skipped a step. Just thought of it. In your kit, I also sent you some ribbon. This is not Stampin' Up! Ribbon. It's just one that I had when I ordered. I did not order the coordinating ribbon, and I apologize, but I think that these really work with the set nicely, and I don't know, I was just feeling it. So you could do this a couple different ways. For me, to get it straight, I like to put the dimensionals on my banner and then stick down my ribbon to those dimensionals so it's just kind of poking out. And I probably could have cut that a little bit bigger, to be honest, but it works. It's just peeking out there. And now I'm going to put my banner on. All right, and there you go. There is the first card done. I hope that you are enjoying this, and I'll see you for the next card set. All right, guys, we're back for our second card. This, we are going to use the Old Olive cardstock. There is a number 2 on your second packet. So let's go ahead and open it up and get our supplies out. Now, just like the first one, in my packet, it has enough for 1 card, but feel free to do all 4 of yours at once. Okay, so I'm going to start by folding our card base on the pre-scored line. Go ahead and crease that down. And then we're going to take our designer series paper. You have a choice which side you put this on. Now, if you want to wait until we have the focal point of the card made before you glue down which side, that's perfectly fine. I usually like to get my card kind of situated first and then work on my focal point, but it's however you want to do it. Now, if you were going to do these all 4 at once, you know, you could fold them, crease them, glue down the base paper, you know, just in an assembly line. Okay. Now in this card, you're going to find that we have our fancy cut piece of paper. We're going to put that to the side. And we have 2 white rectangles. One of them is smaller than the other. And we're going to use this for the inside sentiment of your card. So whichever one fits in there. Okay, so let's get right into stamping. We also have our purple circles, which we're going to use later. So I'm going to bring in my piercing mat and my white paper, and then we're going to get our stamp set. Now for this card, I chose to do the popsicles, but feel free to choose whichever ice cream popsicles, whatever you would like your main focal image to be. I'm gonna grab a stamp block, put that on there, and then I did 3, and I think I'm gonna kind of stick with that. So first I'm gonna get some, I think this is crushed curry ink, and I'm just gonna stamp the fronts. Now, if you're doing the popsicles, your punch will not work for this. Oops. Happy little accidents, right? Okay, let me wash this off. Your punch won't work for this, so you're gonna have to do some fancy cutting and just cut those out. And for my rich raspberry, I would like to use that magenta color for the purple popsicle. So first I'm doing some repeat stamping, and I'm just stamping the tops of my popsicles. Then I'm going to go in with the different colors. There we go. And the stamps themselves are so detailed. It's really cool, actually. They're good quality. Okay, wait, so I did blue. I want to do that on yellow. Now I gotta concentrate because of the lighting. It's shining off my block. I apologize. Okay, so you just line that up. So there's our two-step stamping. I'm going to take and now this would be a three-step, I guess, huh? I'm gonna take some little, I guess I'm using, actually this isn't the one I want. I want the, not the sprinkles, but the little, almost looks like ice crystals, or I don't know what these are. Stamp that in. And there we go. Okay, give it a little shake, a little clean. Now we're gonna move on to the, no, not the espresso. Here we go. The Blackberry Bliss. I'm gonna line that up. And do my little, we'll call them ice crystals on there. Okay, and my third popsicle, I'm going to do an Old Olive. Goes pretty quickly once you get going. I'll line that up. Press it down. And voila, we have 3 popsicles. Now we're going to put our stick on. And just like the ice cream cone, I'm going to use, I believe it's cinnamon cider. Yes. Oops, I didn't close that one. And we could just do a bit of repeat stamping. Line it up. And then just some espresso. Oh, that's Blackberry Bliss. There we go. And we're gonna do the wood grain on the popsicle stick. They really do think of everything. Here, I'll just get another block. Okay. Give it a little dab. And whoop, I might have smudged that one a little bit. That's okay. All right, so now that we have our popsicles made, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out really quickly, and you can do that as well. Okay, now that we have our popsicle sticks all cut out, we're gonna go ahead and choose a sentiment for our circle piece. I'm going to use You Melt My Heart sentiment with Blackberry Bliss. Now feel free, if you have other stamp sets, to put whatever sentiment you like in there. That just fits so perfectly. Sentiment and size. All right, so now we're going to take our cut and embossed rectangle, and I use the Stitched So Sweetly die set to cut that out. We're going to take our popsicles and we're going to arrange those, kind of get them where you like them. All right, now we're going to take our glue and I'm just going to tack them down. You could pop this up with some dimensionals if you like. And before you glue them down, you might want to play with your medallion, your little circle, so that you know where you're going to put it. You know, you may not want to cover up so much, or you might want to go higher. I don't know. I should have probably done that too. But we'll make it work. Okay, let's see. There we go. I'm gonna kind of stick that underneath. Now you can take that, some of that ribbon that I sent you, and I think I'm gonna pop that sentiment up. A little bit. That's kind of busy. You know, I think I'm going to bring mine down on this card. So let me pull this into frame. Let's see. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset the white piece and then bring that sentiment down to the bottom corner. That's how I'm going to do this card. So you see, this card speaks to you. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever looks good to you, however you like it. That's the right way. And I always suggest that you play with your placements and things before you commit with the glue, because you can always change it if you don't like it, but once you glue it down, you're kind of committed. I'm gonna kind of just stick that on. We're gonna put this. Now, on your stamp set, there are little like drops, like your ice cream is dripping. I'm going to use some dimensionals and pop this up next. So I might just go back and do a little stamping. I did on the example card. I had one of them kind of melting. Kind of goes with the sentiment. It's cute. So, okay. There is my sentiment, and I'm gonna grab, let's see, a small stamp block. Oops, come on now, work with me. There we go. And I'm just gonna have fun with it. Just play, see what happens. And if you're not sure, you can always practice before you commit. Well, that was heavy-handed, but there you go. That was a big drop. Cute. I also sent you a whole thing of the sprinkles because we're going to be doing a shaker card next, so we're going to need a lot, but feel free on any of the cards to embellish with those sprinkles. Okay, so we have the outside done. And now let's finish up the inside. We'll pull back in that inner piece. And I think I'd like this to be a thank you card. And I think I'm gonna go for the magenta ink. Ink that up, line it up where you want your sentiment, straight down. Now, what did I miss? I forgot to put my pad underneath, but it came out pretty clear and cute. Now, you don't have to stop there. You could stamp some popsicles on the inside. You could put some sprinkles around it. You could, you know, stamp up your envelopes. The sky's the limit because you have the set. Experiment, play, have fun. And when you get your inside the way you want it, all you have to do is glue it in place. And that is our second card done. I'm going to go ahead and reset the workspace and be right back with our third card. Okay guys, we made it. We are on the third pack. This is our shaker card. It's got multiple steps. We're going to start with our card base, just like I did with the other ones. So fold your card bases or card base if you're going to do one at a time. You're going to take your Sprinkles Designer Series paper and you're going to put it on the front of each card. Now you could choose to do the ice cream and you're going to have, I think, an extra sheet, but it won't fit perfectly on there of this paper. Or you might have it where it has ice creams. Basically, we're going to cut one of these out for an embellishment on the front of the card. So that's why you got the extra sheet in there. So I like the sprinkles up. You're not going to see a whole lot of this. It just adds a little border, which I thought was fun. But you put whatever side you think looks good in the front. Just a little bit of adhesive. And this, instead of framing the paper, we're completely covering the card. So just line it up as best you can. Give it a good press down. You can even kind of use your bone folder. And we're going to set the bases aside. Now we're going to create that fun shaker front. So you're going to need your Bermuda Bay panel, your Posy panel, your clear acrylic sheet, and we're going to start with the Bermuda Bay panel and then your clear panel. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some adhesive, and it doesn't really matter. It can be liquid or it can be dry adhesive. It's whatever you got. And you're going to want to just put it around the openings, the circles, like so. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna stick that clear acetate sheet or acrylic sheet down to your paper. And don't worry, you're not going to see any of that because that's the back side. So it's going to look like that, but you've created the windows for the shaker cards. So the next thing you're going to need when you get those all done is the foam strips that I sent you in your packet. We're finally going to get to use these. So you're going to pull one off and just start with one of your circles, and you're going to go around the entire thing. Take your time with this, because you don't want to see the foam through the white or through the clear, right? So what we're doing is we're creating a, I like to take the paper off when I do this because it kind of makes it easier to like bend and stuff, but you do it the way you need to, whatever works for you. Anyway, we're creating the pocket for the sprinkles to go in. Now these foam strips are sticky on the bottom and sticky on the side, but the top and the bottom, but the sides are not sticky. So that's why they work so well for shaker cards. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just run it. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to start the next. Oh, I don't think I have the right way down. It can be tricky. The good thing about this is you can reposition it if you don't like it. So just kind of take your time with it, work it around, and if you don't like it, reposition it, and that's fine. So this is actually the first shaker card I've ever done, and I really think I will be doing more of them. They're cute and very fun to do. Okay, so I got there. Make sure you kind of seal it because you don't want your sprinkles to escape. All right. So once we get all these around, like so, and you can feel free, if you're going to do all 4 cards at once, you might want to pause the video and take your time with it. All right, now let's see, I have this one left to do. Ooh, the lights are just glaring off that acrylic paper for me. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take the extra and kind of just put it around the card like so, just to make it a little bit more stable. You can also use the edge of your dimensional page where, you know, it's not really a circle, but you could line, you could just peel that off and do the same thing with that. Use all your scraps, right? Don't waste anything. So, come on, get on there. There we go. And just because I said it, I want to show you. See that edge? That is like perfectly made for this project. You can just peel it, rip it off where you need to. It's very easy to work with, right? Oh. And then just kind of pull off those pieces. I gotta make sure that one's not gonna come. And there you go, waste not, want not. Okay, I don't want that to overlap, so I'm gonna pull it off. Okay, so once you get your foam all in place, and I'm going kind of fast, so mine's a little, mine's a little wonky, but it's okay. You're gonna open up your sprinkles and just take a generous pinch and drop it in the middle of each window. Be generous with it. Make sure you have enough for all your cards, but they give you quite a bit. Okay, and just be careful not to get it on the sticky part, or do what I just did and put your finger in the sticky part and then the sprinkles go everywhere. Then you're just gonna line up the purple posy piece with your Bermuda Bay piece, and you're really gonna wanna just, with your hands, light pressure, seal those strips down. And then, ta-da! How cute is that? We have our shaker panel. And it's gonna go right on our card. I think I like it like this, but first, let's pull in the other little strips and pieces that I sent to you. Now, if you have any ribbon left, you can certainly use that ribbon as well. One thing you can do is cut out the popsicle or ice cream. I think I gave everybody ice creams. You could also stamp your own image and punch it out or cut it out. I just liked the printed image because they were smaller. So I felt for this, the smaller image was a good match. But I took this design literally right from the catalog. I cased it, I copied it, and I just loved the look of it and thought it was so fun. Now, your pieces are longer than what you need, but in case you wanted to do something else, like make a paper bow or have more than one tail, I wanted you to be able to have a little extra like that. It's however you want to do it. So this part, just have fun with, play with it. I'm going to put my sprinkle stripe right down the middle of my waffle cone banner. I'm going to have it kind of just hanging out there. Not a whole lot of overlap, maybe a little. And I don't know yet if I want to cut it down. I'm probably going to cut it down more, but I have my little yellow strip and I'm going to do a sentiment stamp on that. There we go. And I'm going to use some Blackberry Bliss, or is this Espresso? Blackberry Bliss. It's funny, the lights on the ring, or the tone on the ring light, I should say, it messes with the colors of things. Hopefully they're coming through on camera. Oh, and I gotta have my mat so I get a crisp image. There we go. Crisp sentiment. Okay, so now let's just assemble it. I'm going to give my sentiment a little haircut and trim the edges like so. I don't know where that little piece went. That's okay. And yeah, I definitely want to cut my banner down too a little bit. A little lot, maybe a lot. Okay, now this part you could pop up, but I will say that the shaker card is a bit thick. So for, sending in the post, you might want to not pop up as much, but it's up to you. If you're hand delivering, definitely pop it up. Or maybe just pop up the sentiment. I don't know. I'm going to do mine off center a little bit. I'm going to glue down my shaker card panel. Again, you just want to frame your panel in sprinkles. All right, there we go. Then I'm going to take my little banner, give it a little bit of glue, and pop that down in there. Now, the next thing we have to do is the inside panel, which you can choose your sentiment and embellish it or decorate it any way you'd like. And then you're gonna just glue that right down in there. But that's it, that's our cards. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure did. And I'll see you next month for April's Bundle of the Month. Have a good day, bye.